And that anchor is Jesus. He is the one. We certainly thank God for the opportunity to be here today. Amen. I was just leaving another homegoing service, and that made me a little late getting here, but nevertheless, we're here. And known Sister Smith for all my life, and I was one of her pets at school, and she was the one that taught me how to drive. She taught me to drive a leg. And our first day out, we was driving along, and she told me, she said, when you get to this road up here, make a right turn. She went in about 25 miles an hour. I was just getting started in my first experience. And I got near the intersection, and I wanted to make the right turn like she told me, but she didn't tell me I need to slow down before the turn. So I started to make the turn, probably about 25, 30 miles an hour, but thank God she had some brakes on her side of the car. And she used her brakes to stop the car and make sure I could get a safe turn. And she had a few choice words. And I had a good lesson from that. And I never made that mistake again. But she was a jewel, and I loved her all my life. And she used to be at church, her and our sister, the late Georgia Thompson, would be there. They was friends, and both of them decided that I was going to be their boy. And if I was around one, the other one would tell the other one, say, look, he's mine, been mine all the time, I don't know where you coming from. She told Sister Georgia, said, look, I had raised the boy, I don't know where you coming from, and I think you will take over. So we always had fun. She was a loving person, she was a caring person, and she was a person that you could communicate with at any time about anything. She was a great person. And I know that the Lord has called her from labor to reward, because she was a laborer. She worked faithfully in the kingdom throughout her life. And I'm so grateful that I can say that. And kind of reminds me of something that I say all the time, and I think you better repeating, that it was kind of like a gentleman went to a car dealership and he wanted to try a very expensive car. And the guy said, well, just take it and drive it. He said, you sure you want me to drive this expensive car? I said, sure, take it and drive it, it's okay. So he went out on the road with the car, and he was driving it, and he was having a great time, and all of a sudden, something happened, and he had an accident. And a very expensive car, and he totally lost it. Totally lost it. So he said, how in the world am I going to tell that man I messed his car up like this? So he finally got the nerve to call back to the dealership and tell the man, he said, you know I had an accident and I messed up the car. So the guy asked him, said, well, how's the motor? He says, you don't understand. I messed up the car. The body of the car is just totally lost. He said, how is the motor? He says, the motor is fine. He said, well, it's okay if the motor is fine. Just bring it back. Bring it back. Bring the motor back. I can take the motor and send it to the manufacturer. He can put it in a new body, and you can never tell that it's been hurt. And I think this will happen on Wednesday morning with Sister Smith. The manufacturer says, send me the motor. I'll put it in a new body. And when I put it in a new body, it won't have no more pain. It won't have no more sorrow. won't have no more sickness. So just send me a motor. And I believe the motor went back to the manufacturer. And now that same motor, amen, which is that spirit, that soul, is now in a new body. A glorified body. That there will be no more sorrow, no more pain. And now she can rest from my labor. God bless you.